This is the public testimony. I'd like to go over some ground rules so people understand who haven't been here. I know a lot of you are annual participants and we want to welcome you back again. And for those new people, just like to go over some ground rules. We're happy to hear from you, obviously, about the proposed budget and where you believe the city should focus its spending priorities to ensure that there's an opportunity for everyone here to be heard this evening. Certain ground rules have been established as follows. Your testimony should be about the budget and the proposed spending priorities. Copies are available on the table at the back of the room where you signed in. All speakers must sign up in order to testify. If you have not already signed up, please do so now by signing your name on the list on the same table as the back of the room. Your name will be called in the order in which you signed up. We will ask you to give your testimony in 2 minutes in order to be fair, because we want to have as much time. We have a pretty extensive list, so what we want to do is give people an opportunity. Everyone who shows up tonight wants to testify, an opportunity to testify. We do have a timer, so it kind of lets you know when that time is up, and when you hear the timer, if you have not already concluded your time, we'll ask you to wrap up your testimony. Again, we want to thank you very much. We're actually going to call up 3 people at a time, a panel of 3, and you can testify. I'm going to ask that if anybody has an electronic device that makes music similar to what we just heard, or any kind of noise, it's somewhat distracting, and I don't think it's respectful of the individuals who have to testify. So we're going to ask that you please turn it off or turn it on silent, and we appreciate your cooperation very much on that. So we're going to start our panels. Mr. Stitt, please call the first 3 names on the list.
Steve Jones and Nick Molnar. Steve Jones and Nick Molnar. Linda Evans.
Come on up. You guys are...
Just one? Okay. Is it Sarak Young, maybe?
So what? So going to speak on... You're going to speak for the... I got you. Cool. You can sit up there anyway,
Okay,
though.
I was told.
You're on TV.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead,
try-
take
I'm
your
trying to do
shot.
what I'm told.
It's all good. Thank you for coming in to testify.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
Sure. Council President Clark, council members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak regarding the Community College of Philadelphia. My name is Nick Molnar, a faculty member at that institution. Before coming to CCP, I received my doctorate in history from Rutgers University and worked there for a number of years. I'm extremely proud to be a faculty member at this institution, and the city should be proud of what this institution has accomplished for regular Philadelphians. CCP has benefited the city in a multitude of ways and still has tremendous untapped potential for allowing folks to better their circumstances in a place where wealth and crushing poverty coexist. Philadelphia has fine restaurants where folks can spend hundreds of dollars without a second thought. In that same city, there exist students of all ages who rely on the college's food pantry for sustenance. What attracted me to teach here was that I saw faculty, staff, and administration dedicated to making a positive change in the lives of individuals who might not otherwise have the chance to be successful without this institution. I saw people committed to the future of the average person and the average Philadelphian who wants to better their lot. Despite my beliefs, it's not all blue skies at CCP. I've come here to tell you about the current state of the institution at a critical time in the history of that institution and the city overall. There now exist serious issues that threaten the ability of CCP to function as an agent of positive change. The first is that funding from the city, necessary to the institution's survival, has steadily declined. This has resulted in a perverse funding structure that forces our students to shoulder 60% of the operating costs of the college. This is before they even purchased their first textbook. We're asking the most underserved of Philadelphia's population to shoulder the burden of an education that they increasingly are not only expected to have, but that they'll need to survive and contribute to the diverse neighborhoods that those in the City Council represent. This lack of funding has a ripple effect throughout the institution. As a result of this trend, proposals have been made to cut costs by placing more of a burden on the backs of faculty, staff, and the most contingent of our workforce, part-time faculty who work on semester-long contracts. We all have the desire for the college to be a path for students to obtain stable, well-compensated jobs to support their families. Many in the city believe the college should do the same for its own workers. Long-term, this positions the college to have the human infrastructure necessary to tackle the task of educating the next generation of Philadelphians. At this critical time, when many in our workforce are departing and the college is exploring ways to better serve the people of Philadelphia, these proposals are dangerous to faculty diversity, retention, and future hiring of the institution. Quite simply, we can't hire diverse faculty and develop a more diverse faculty for the future if we don't have opportunities to hire that faculty. I believe that with the support of the City Council, these structural issues can be resolved with a positive outcome for all parties involved. If I didn't sincerely believe that, I wouldn't be here speaking before the City Council today. Philadelphia isn't a perfect place, but that shouldn't stop us from trying to make it a better one. The Community College of Philadelphia can be a tool to make this a better city that all of us here and all of us speaking today, I believe, are working towards. Supporting it now at this critical time is an investment not just in the long-term health of the institution, but in the futures of the students who now attend and will attend that institution. And it sends a signal that the city sees the potential in all those who live within this metropolis. Flat funding for CCP this year and in future years as planned puts that potential at risk. It will signal to others that the city and the institution are places where you can make a difference, and unlike in some other settings, you'll be given the resources to do so. Support now is crucial to attract talented educators and pay dividends in the decades to come. But we need the city's help in order to achieve that goal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony, sir. Ms. Evans.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
My name is Linda Evans, and I'm an activist who is fighting to get more African American faculty to be hired at Community College of Philadelphia. Today, I'm standing up against the hiring discrimination at Community College of Philadelphia, and I am petitioning Philadelphia City Council, particularly you, Councilman Clark, considering that CCPs in your legislative district, and also you, Mr. Mayor, because, Mr. Mayor, Section 1905A of the Public School Code, you appoint the Board of Trustees. You can set the direction. You need some board members who will be committed to overseeing diversity, particularly the hiring of African American faculty. And also you, Pennsylvania Governor Wolf, I want all three of you involved in this. I'm pretty sure you don't recognize my name, Linda, or my face, but I'm pretty sure you recognize the name of Congressman Dwight Evans, former state representative of the House of 203rd, the former appropriations chairperson, and I'm sure, in case anybody doesn't know what his face looks like, okay? In case you don't know what his face looks like. Over the course of 30-some years, I have interfaced with all of you at close or even up at a distance. But here's the secret that you didn't know. I've been trying for 30 years to get a full-time job at Community College of Philadelphia. With my 4 degrees, a bachelor's, a master's, an MBA, an earned PhD. Community and union involvement, church involvement. I have worked 30 years as a part-time teacher, a part-time placement reader, and a part-time advisor. Specifically, 18 years as a part-time advisor. January of 2016, the college creates 7 full-time academic advising positions. CCP has been around 52 years. Their academic advising department was staffed with all part-time workers. All part-time workers. I have the list here of about 55 all part-time academic advisors was in that department. For the 5th time, I made an attempt for a full-time position. I was turned down. The board, with the support of the college president, who did they hire for the first full-time position? Yes, they hired a 40-something white female who was a full-time administrator in another program at the college. She never worked in academic advising. Never worked in academic advising. Her name is not on this list, but she received the first full-time position. The other 6 positions, the college hired external people. And I'm sure as you will hear their side, know what they will say to you? Oh, well, we did hire African Americans, but external people. Councilman, you worked up through the ranks. The gentleman over here, who's currently the seat on Councilman Cohen, he worked up through the ranks. I worked 18 years as an academic advisor, and then somebody external gets the job. All right? With a grieving heart and undescribable pain about another lost opportunity for full-time employment, I decided I could no longer be silent. I decided to take my issue public. CCP is a predominantly African-American college, 51% African-American, 16% African-American faculty, and 75% white faculty. For more than a year, I've taken my message of structural racism to whomever would hear. As you know, the audience resisted the message. Just give me one more minute. Just give me one more minute, please. It's taken me this long.
1 more minute.
Okay. But early on, someone told me if I could not prove the racism, it would be damaging to the college. But however, as Mary Beth Gassman said, when people of color say something about racism, no one believes them, all right? But I do want to leave this point right here.
All right.
Dr. Mary Beth Gassman, okay, the recognized University of Pennsylvania, she says, yes, there is structural racism in higher education. But then there's no surprise if a person of color like myself would say it, no one believes me. So,
I'm really going to have to ask you, because if everybody takes that,
I'm finishing. Okay, I said my point.
Yes.
I hope you and the mayor and Governor Tom Wolf do something about it.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your testimony, Ms. Evans.
Sarah Young, Karen Buck, Alicia Burgess, Janine Lazitsky, Frank Monahan.
Good afternoon. Well, good evening.
Good evening.
You guys self-select. Who's going to go first?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alicia Burgess, and I'm a junior at South Philadelphia High. And today I'm going to be talking about community schools. If you ever just sat down and took the word community apart, you will wind up with an actual word, which is unity. And that is what Mayor Kinney is progressing to build, a unity, but not just any typical unity, a family type of unity. And I can say it is working very well. In my school, we have opened a community closet where you can donate and also receive free clothes, free books, free hygiene amenities, free shoes, free hats, and free bags. Since our closet has been built, a surplus amount of demographics have been coming in, and the compliments and suggestions people have exchanged has made that a safe place. I had helped Ms. Janelle construct the room, from painting the walls to stocking the tables and signing people out. I still donate my time here and there, but due to the paid surveying internship that I received at the City of Streets Department, which Ms. Caitlin and Ms. Janelle facilitated, my lovely presence in the school closet won't be as often. My friends and I are coordinating a community closet fashion show, and I'm wearing one of the latest 60s outfits from our sophisticated urban collection. Ever since our school have become a community school, I felt like a barrier has been broken. Isolation of the demographics are almost non-existent, and I think that is what Mayor Kinney's purpose was. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony.
Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. The Philadelphia Chinatown Development Corporation is a nonprofit community organization which has served Chinatown for 51 years. Affordable housing is the lifeblood of a low-income immigrant community. As the city experiences rapid increases in real estate values, Chinatown and other immigrant neighborhoods have been the first to feel these impacts. In addition, because limited English proficient immigrants face higher barriers to access city services such as housing, counseling, and public housing units, immigrant families are at a higher risk of facing substandard housing, high rent burdens, and displacement through eviction and other means. Immigrant neighborhoods such as Chinatown leverage a concentration of residents and businesses to create place-based hubs of services, amenities, and culture for immigrants across the city. Affordable housing in work-live neighborhoods such as Chinatown, Fair Hill, and Cedar Park is the key to supporting these populations. When the affordable housing in these neighborhoods diminishes, there are wide-ranging impacts for all immigrants. We ask that any housing-related activities in the next fiscal year include targeted community efforts and the support of language and culturally competent services. Without these efforts, the programs will not reach low-income immigrant neighborhoods like Chinatown. We ask that you fund goals 42 and 52 in the city's assessment of fair housing, one of the first such plans in the country to invest in immigrant hubs and in particular to meet housing needs and preserve access to opportunities for limited English proficient families. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony.
Council President, oops, there we go, what happened? Council President Clark and members of council, good evening and thank you for the opportunity to testify tonight. My name is Frank Monahan. I'm the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity Philadelphia. We have two core affordable housing programs, our Affordable Home Ownership Program and our Critical Home Repair Program for existing low-income homeowners. What we are really asking, we are joining many of our affordable housing community development peers in calling on the Kinney administration and City Council to work together to double the dedicated revenue to the Philadelphia Housing Trust Fund. Guess it was lucky I was early. We urge you to work together to identify funding sources to increase the Housing Trust Fund to a minimum of $25 million per year. It is a moral imperative that we find funding to support the critical activities outlined in proposed 43rd Consolidation Plan. Specifically, we call on the Kinney administration to boost the investment from the general fund to support the critical activities related to affordable housing, housing preservation, and homelessness prevention outlined in the plan. And we cannot continue to offer the benefits of the abatement without earmarking some of the revenue generated from development activities for the Housing Trust Fund, and tagging said dollars for the Housing Trust Fund will be used to create more affordable homes, repairing and preserving existing affordable homes, and ending homelessness. So, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.
Faye Anderson, Cassandra Ross, Ernest Saxton.
Hello, hi.
How you doing?
Hello, hi. My
Hold
name
on one
is
second.
Cassandra.
Hold on one second. We'll get the...
Patrick Grossi. John Smith.
Here we go. How you doing?
Thank you. Hello, hi. My name is Cassandra Ross, and I'm a CCP graduate. I graduated last year. I just want to share my experience that I have with community college, and I want to begin with the experience that I encountered at community college. In my 3 years at community college, I was blessed with 2 African-American professors. During that time in my life, I was going through a lot. Utilities being cut off, no oil, no heat in my house, just going through a lot. But because of the 2 African-American professors, they were able to persevere, and they were able to relate to my situations that I was going through. They allowed me to take home my assignments, to be late with my assignments because of the perseverance that they had with me. There were times where, they have compassion. They have teachers that work at the office, that come to the school, that are white, that have no compassion for African-American people of color. People there, they come to the school for a paycheck. They don't have people that's there for our life, our culture, or where we come from. They don't know. They hired, for one, I was misdirected by counselors who had recently graduated from some Western college in Pennsylvania, had no idea of what was going on in Philadelphia or anything. She said to me, I started out in community college, and I just wanted to try to make it, but I've never had any conversations with any African American people. And I said, well, how did you get the job? I got the job just putting in the application. But I say to her, you don't know where we come from. You don't know our structure, our culture. So how can you teach me something if you've never been to where I've been to?
Okay, that was quick. Can you just wrap it up?
Okay. Secondly, I had a sociology teacher who graduated from LaSalle College who never been stopped a police officer, don't know anything about my life or anything about community college. And because of this, we had a discussion in the class about racial, economics, and abuse. And I said to her, well, you don't relate to me because you're not my culture. I'm from Philadelphia, South Philadelphia, where we go through all types of things in our life, and we're struggling just to get an education, let alone try to sit here and have teachers that's not our race to explain to me how am I going to make it, or what day will I get. With these African American students here, they help us. They go the extra mile for us. They understand what we're going through and what we've been through. And this is the reason why community college has a great, drop, because the students tell me, I don't want to go to community college. They don't have people there of our color or our peers that understand what we're going through. The people there, the teachers that they hire, they're just there for a paycheck. They're not there for our education or for our success. And I'm here to just say, I think that we need to have more African American people to identify who we are and to succeed and further our education.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your testimony.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Council President Clark, members of Council. Thank you for the opportunity to offer testimony this evening. My name is Patrick Rossi, and I serve as Director of Advocacy with the Preservation Alliance for Greater Philadelphia. Founded in 1996, the Preservation Alliance is a nonprofit, member-supported advocacy organization dedicated to promoting the appreciation, protection, and revitalization of Philadelphia's historic buildings, communities, and streetscapes. I'm here tonight to express support for the proposed fiscal year 2018 budget allocation for the Department of Planning and Development. In particular, increased resources that would allow for the hiring of 2 additional preservation planners at the Philadelphia Historical Commission. The Historical Commission is the municipal body with whom our organization most often engages. Increased funding and capacity for the Historical Commission has been a long-standing priority of the Preservation Alliance. The Commission operates at a budget of just under $432,000 a year. That's a figure that compares unfavorably to most of our peer cities around the nation. Smaller cities across the country, cities with an arguably less robust collection of historic resources than Philadelphia, provide far greater resources to their equivalent historic offices, whether in total dollars or relative to their city's general operating budget. And I'm referring here to places such as New Orleans, San Antonio and Dallas, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, even Baltimore, our resource-strapped sister city to the south. So, amidst a remarkable development boom, a moment of tremendous change and tremendous opportunity, we are encouraged by the attention now being paid to strengthening protections for a historic built environment, the unique and shared heritage that contributes to our city's identity, growth, and vitality. In sum, we fully support the increased resources that this budget proposal would allow, and we hope it signals the beginning of a renewed commitment to preservation best practices and a fully equipped, enabled, and efficient Philadelphia Historical Commission. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your testimony.
Mr. President and members of council, my name is John F. Smith. I chair the board of the Global Philadelphia Association. And as many of you will know, we have worked closely with the city to have the city become designated as a World Heritage City. In the wake of that, we were successful with the help of 200 fellow citizens in adopting a strategic plan to make use of the new designation. Each of you has a copy of the plan as it was adopted this past year. I will be brief because you have many people here with heartfelt human concerns. However, I'd like to second the comments of the preceding speaker, because as much as we're interested in increasing tourism, in working with neighborhoods and communities to appreciate their heritage assets, to encourage investment, and do all the many other things that the city needs to do in developing, we are also strong advocates for the preservation of those assets which have made us a World Heritage City. This council, back in March, already adopted increases in the fee structure for the Department of Licenses and Inspections. I'm here basically to commend you for doing that and to express our strong hope, as the preceding speaker did, that a good portion of those resources will be devoted to the Philadelphia Historical Commission so they can do the valuable work that they do. A copy of my testimony has been provided to every member of council and to the reporter, and I'll leave it there for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good point. If there's anyone that has written testimony, they would like to leave it to be a part of the record, the official record, you can please do so. Thank you, and we'll make sure it's a part of it.
Nancy Solyndra, Karen Melton, Amanda Fury. Connie Morrow.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Morgan Hugo. I'm testifying on the behalf of Nancy Solyndra. She's unable to make it today due to a family emergency. And I'm testifying, we're both members of Philly Adapt. My name is Nancy Solyndra. I'm a member of Disabled in Action and Philly Adapt, grassroots advocacy organization that has been around for 44 years. I'm here today to provide testimony to increase the Mayor's Commission on People with Disabilities budget from $14,000 a year to $1 million a year. The city has spent the last 15 years discriminating against the disabled population. Never filled the position of ADA coordinator for the city. Instead, just incorporated the position into the executive director of the Mayor's Commission, which is a conflict of interest. The city of Philadelphia is out of compliance with curb cuts, especially on Market Street from 4th Street to Front Street, which is dangerous to anyone in a wheelchair, and nothing has been done about this in over 2 years. Businesses are allowed to open, and accessibility has not been done, and is not encouraged in the thousands and thousands of businesses in the city that just has one step. The city has never supported accessible taxis for its 13% of the population that needs them. We have at present 40 accessible taxis out of 1,600, and the city has sided with Uber that blatantly violates our ADA rights by not picking up disabled and picking up people, and instead they pick up people in ambulances, as if that would be acceptable to the able-bodied population. At City Hall, the North Apron, when it needs to be repaved, the city put steps back and removed the ramp that was there. After DIA put up a sink, they recently put in a temporary ramp. Where is a permanent ramp over a year? And a temporary solution is not a permanent solution under the ADA. Our civil rights has been violated more times than I can count by not having ASL interpreters at meetings and hearing at City Hall. The only reason we have ASL interpreters at City Council Thursday's meeting is because over the last 10 years, DIA showed up and we asked over and over again to provide ASL interpreters. We have been laughed at, ignored by City Council members when we have gone to hearings, and they refuse to recognize our rights to participate in the democratic process. Just a few weeks ago at the budget City Council hearing, City Council refused to get an ASL interpreter, even though we requested it in plenty of time, but the President's office refused, and so the city paid so we could participate in the hearing. Our Office of Supportive Housing Intake at Sherry Street for women and children is separate and not equal. The city moved from a site on Juniper Street with a lift so people with physical disabilities could enter as everyone else to a place that we have fought against and complained about for the past 12 years. And yes, we can get in by going into a separate entrance down the street, which is really an alley that is very badly maintained for someone in a wheelchair to get into a building. I know, I'm sorry. Nancy's is almost done. So that's not accessible. Also during the summertime.
No, that means you got to wrap it up.
Okay, 5 seconds, I promise you. So also the testimony includes, it's written as well.
Right.
There's cafes out there for restaurants, hindrance to people who use wheelchairs. The PPA, there's only one accessible, there's no accessibility there at all.
You can submit that. We'll make sure it's a matter of.
And also the Housing Trust Fund, only 12 million in it for disabled people, and we need more money.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Karen Melton. I live in the East Falls section of the city, and thank you for the opportunity to make comments on the budget. I am speaking on behalf of Southeast Pennsylvania Sierra Club, which has about 9,000 members and supporters in the 5-county region. I would specifically like to address the SEPTA portion of the budget and hope that you will consider asking SEPTA some of these 4 questions when they present to you on May 8th. The SEPTA budget reflects a plan to buy 525 more diesel hybrid buses over the next 5 years. This year, they are taking delivery of 25 electric buses. The decision 14 years ago to convert the fleet to diesel hybrids was likely very forward-thinking at the time, but electric vehicle technologies have progressed by leaps and bounds in those 14 years. SEPTA should be using this year to evaluate electric buses. Please ask SEPTA why they are purchasing hundreds more diesels when they have not yet evaluated electrics. SEPTA has also just committed to buy natural gas to operate a gas-fired power plant in Nicetown for the next 20 years. even though energy forecasts are for increasing natural gas prices and ever lower renewable energy prices. The reason they are building the plant is only because there was a financing plan that made it feasible, but only over a 20-year period, and they hope to build more such plants. The future of Philadelphia transit should not involve long-term commitments to buying fossil fuels and building new fossil fuel infrastructure. Also, SEPTA will tell you this plant will reduce its emissions in the northern train corridor by 41%. This number does not stand up to scrutiny. It is possible the plant will even increase emissions. Please ask SEPTA to drop these plans. Is that me? Okay. Well, I have 2 more questions, and I will leave you a copy.
Yeah, please leave a copy. I want to make sure it's a matter of record. Thank you so much for your testimony.
Good evening, President Clark and the council person. My name is Constance Morrow, and I live in the 2300 block of Germantown Avenue, which is District 7. I've been living there for 37 whole years. I'm a board member of the Women's Community Revitalization Projects. I'm also a block captain of grandparents, and I serve on other boards in my community. I'm here today with the Philadelphia Coalition of Affordable Community. I talk to a lot of people in my community, and we talk about affordable houses and the need of it. And they are living by robbing Paul to pay Peter. What I mean by that is that they can afford their rent, but they can't pay their utility bills or even buy medicine or even get food at the end of the month. Almost 129,000 people in Philadelphia earn less than $15,000 per year. At least the income shall be paying at least $375 per month for all costs of houses. Most people that I know cannot even find a place under $625 per month. It's already too expensive. I'm worried about development will make it worse. Close to my neighborhood, there's a lot of development. Developers are building new homes from 7th Drive all the way up to 7th and Oxford. Gentrification is knocking on my door as I speak today. My block is supposed to have 63 houses, but they only have 6 that's standing. The rest are vacant lots. Development are coming to rebuild on those lots and push us out. I wouldn't mind seeing some affordable houses or a place for children to play. My grandson just asked me the other day, "Grandma, why are you still living here?" He called himself looking out for me. He's comparing his neighborhood to my neighborhood, where his house have a house full of row full of houses, and mine has a bunch of empty lots. Development is coming on those lots. It would be good, as long as they're affordable. As we all know, we cannot count on the federal government to put money into the city for affordable houses. So we're asking you city councils to do something about this and to fund the Philadelphia, the Housing Trust Fund, We need to take action now. Most of us know the importance of the green space, affordable, accessibility houses, and know that we need resources. So today, we're here to give you a solution. Unfortunately, the budget does not do enough. So we're asking you to introduce the construction impact taxes.
Right.
With all of the development going on, I'm quite sure we can put some money into the Housing Trust Fund for affordable, accessible houses and green space. We are looking for y'all to stand with us today.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Parodi and Evelyn Baylor.
Oh, are you Bob? Then you go first.
What was the other name? Evelyn Baylor. Not here.
Ready?
All right, just go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Please proceed.
Thank you, President Clark.
Good afternoon. My name is Herman Parodi, and I'm the president of Disabled in Action. Grassroots organizations have been here for 44 years. You've seen me often. We are a proud member of the Philadelphia Coalition for Affordable Communities, the only coalition fighting for 17 years to increase the housing and resources for people with disabilities across the city, and mainly people that live 30% under the area median income, and disabled population that makes up 18% of the city. Disabled population live in the city. They're 30% with physical disabilities. Overall, it encompasses around 18% on the recent numbers. We help people over the age of 60 and under the age of 60. But our service shortage for accessible units have made it very difficult to locate housing, which is preventing not only people like us finding ways to be out here, but also people from P&H, the Philadelphia Nursing Home, which is the only funded nursing home in the city by our tax monies, should somehow be closed. I hope that's something you do in the previous year and you have money to do that. I'm here to testify also in behalf of our members, the whole coalition, who live in subsidized housing and know the value that it is of it, and they would lose it if you do not help us further coming forward. I truly do not understand why the City Council has taken no action in the last 2 years to put more funding in the Housing Trust Fund. Yes, you have passed the realty tax increase, which will increase. It will begin to be used to reduce the waiting list for the Basic System Repairs Program and the Adaptive Home Program. But to use $100 million for 2 programs and not add $1 to the Housing Trust Fund makes no sense to me. Disabled in Action has spent decades fighting for all these issues, and it is time the city starts to follow the law and act as the city asks. Every department should have an ADA coordinator also, because that's how things that get slipped through the cracks. Like last week, a council hearing not having at all any ASL interpreters for our members. We appreciate the city's support to recognize our need and find new funds for us to stay afloat, but City Council has made no movement on the construction impact tax, and we have missed the opportunity of $7 billion in the construction of over the last 2 years, which would yield millions if we have done that for the Housing Trust Fund. Why in that case, why in it that we care little for our citizens who are poorer, but care so much for the industry, rich people, corporations, who at the end results for so little. We have fought for the last 17 years. We will continue bringing our voice, and hopefully we don't have to come to your homes to do this. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimonies.
Hello, Council President Clark and all members of City Council. My name is Bob Trivedi, Policy Coordinator for the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia. I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak. Poor street conditions were found to be the 3rd most important issue hindering mobility, according to a 2016 Central Philadelphia Development Corporation survey of 125 businesses in Center City. The survey also said repairing potholes and ramping up the paving schedule was the #1 priority. Why does the Bicycle Coalition care about resurfacing city streets? Well, cyclists feel every groove and pavement indentation. But these poor conditions don't just impact cyclists. They impact drivers, pedestrians, people with physical disabilities, and public transit users as well. In 2014, we issued a report highlighting the problem, comparing ourselves to other cities. This city has 2,500 miles of streets and an 1,100-mile backlog in paving. Nearly half our streets are overdue to be paved. Now, I passed out a handout which has a more lengthy presentation, and on page 5 provides a graph comparing the percentage of city streets paved with Baltimore. Baltimore has a population 1/3 the size of Philadelphia, yet it paves a greater percentage of its streets annually. Philadelphia spends less than 1% of its annual budget on maintaining this vital asset, while Baltimore spends nearly 4.5%. We compared the number of staff employees in Baltimore versus the streets department on page 7 of that handout that I gave. Baltimore has 1 worker for every 1.7 miles of streets, while Philadelphia has 1 for every 5 miles. The fact is, in the last 15 years, the streets department has lost 20% of their staff. The leading metric for tracking success for streets department is maintaining a state of good repair. Considering our 2,500 miles of roadway, the city needs to be paving at least 130 miles of roads per year. That's about 5%. The Kenney administration has presented you with a reasonable plan to steadily increase the paving budget in order to support reaching that 130 miles by the fiscal year 2030. We support that plan, and I thank you for this time.
Thank you so much for your testimony.
Nora Li, Elise McConnell, Beth McConnell.
Oh, thank you. Good evening,
Hold on.
Council President.
One second. Let's stay around.
Good evening, Council President Clark and members of Council. My name is Elise McConnell, and I serve as chair of the Design Advocacy Group, or DAG. We are a 1,500-member, all-volunteer citizens group concerned with the planning and design of Philadelphia. DAG strongly supports the first expansion of the Philadelphia Historical Commission in many years. The addition of 2 new preservation planners will help enable the commission to conduct more expedient reviews and processing of building and existing district nominations, identify potential new resources and districts, and we hope address a long overdue and much needed citywide survey. There is still much to be done at the Historical Commission, particularly in terms of public education and outreach that the Commission is also charged with under Ordinance. But DAG applauds this much-needed measure and hopes it will be followed in successive years. Regarding the Philadelphia City Planning Commission, there is an ongoing need for more staff to accomplish pressing matters, notably implementation of district plans and, very critically, zoning remapping. Philadelphia's neighborhoods would be far better served if the Planning Commission staff were also expanded. Both the Historical and Planning Commissions are seriously understaffed and under-resourced, as has been pointed out by several other speakers, compared to even our much smaller peer cities such as San Francisco and Boston. Going forward, Philadelphia should be committed to providing sufficient resources so that both commissions can best fulfill their roles as critical guardians of what we all treasure most about Philadelphia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, Council President, other members of Council. My name is Beth McConnell, Policy Director at the Philadelphia Association of CDCs. I'll summarize my testimony. But first, I want to highlight and focus on, given the massive and growing unmet need for affordable homes, PACDC is calling on the administration and council to work together to at least double dedicated revenue to the Housing Trust Fund this year to a minimum of $25 million annually. The building boom that Philadelphia continues to enjoy may be good for the city as a whole, but it is not translating into more affordable home opportunities for struggling Philadelphians. In fact, home prices and rents are rising while the supply of affordable homes is decreasing. In order to justify subsidies such as the 10-year property tax abatement, Philadelphians are told that they will benefit from a growing tax base. Yet that growing tax base isn't contributing much to more affordable homes for low-income Philadelphians in this budget or in prior years. The BIA estimates that $169 million in new annually recurring property tax revenue will soon be generated as a result of expired abatements, and it's time for council and the mayor to justify the continued existence of the abatement by earmarking revenue it's attributed to generating to the Housing Trust Fund. It is the equitable thing to do. And then I just want to really quickly highlight for council, there's also a proposed budget of either $20,000 or $80,000 in commercial corridor cleaning contracts for next year. The consolidated plan is inconsistent, so I'm not quite sure which one it is. That program is 100% funded with general fund revenue for the first time this year. And so if that funding is not restored, corridor cleaning grants in some of your districts will be cut or eliminated. So we urge you to make sure that there's adequate general fund revenue for the corridor cleaning program. I want to thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you so much for your testimony.
Good evening. My name's Nora Li, and tonight I want to talk about our city's need for more affordable housing and why we need you as council members to take action. I work at the Women's Community Revitalization Project, known as WCRP, and we're a proud member of the Philadelphia Coalition for Affordable Communities. You can see others from the coalition here today in our green t-shirts. We're in green. Our coalition keeps growing. The last time we were here, last year, we were 40 members, and now WCRP is one of 60 members. The organization includes labor, the largest labor unions in the city, faith-based groups, community groups, disability advocates, and urban agriculture groups. I know we just heard it, but could we hear it for the coalition again? What this tells us is that the community and long-standing organizations working in our community are feeling an increasing sense of urgency to expand affordable, accessible housing and green space here in Philly. And I want to tell you about the research that we've done, because it's not just a feeling of urgency, there is data about this urgency. Over half of all renters citywide are paying more than they can afford on their housing. Wow, that was quick.
Well, you use up your time when the cheering.
Okay, too much cheering. I guess what I want to say is that we feel like people in council have been concerned about the federal budget cuts. We know that Washington may not help us, so we have to help ourselves. And one way and one solution is something that you've heard about before, a construction impact tax. It's all over in many cities. It's in our counties. Developers are used to it. We should do it. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.
Ethelyn Baylor, Andrew Goodman, Lynn Robinson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Dominic.
Hold on 1 second. Let everybody take a seat. Go ahead.
May I?
Yes, please.
Okay. My name is Dominic Miniziali. I represent District Council 47 retirees. We're 1,200 strong. And I'm here on behalf of the retirees because we're all on fixed income, no cost of living either in the pension plans or Social Security. And I'm going to use my own situation as an example. I have lived in Northeast Philadelphia for 45 years, same row house since 1972. It was purchased for $25,000 on a salary of $7,500, and is now worth about $230,000. And it was easier then than it is now to maintain this house. Should anything happen to any of my incomes, I would then be forced to sell it because I could not possibly keep it up. I have looked into 55 and over community at Byberry, and believe it or not, it is beyond my means. The cheapest house there is $275,000. It's a row house. They go up to $400,000. The maintenance there of $250 a month would be $1,000 a month more than I pay in real estate taxes at my present location. I don't know how people are going to be able to stay there after the abatement, 10-year abatement is up, because I presume that the taxes will triple over what they are now with the maintenance fee. Most of my members are not in the same position as I am. They're in worse positions. So I am here to vouch for affordable housing for seniors, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your testimony.
My name is Lynn Robinson. I live in Germantown, and I'm a Philadelphia public middle school teacher. And I apologize in advance if I sound like one. And I thank you for listening to the public. I came here today to throw the book at you. I will be handing you several scholarly and footnoted articles for you to read, as well as some easier to digest materials from an environmental organization called Energy Justice Network, which is headquartered in Philadelphia. There are two related topics. First, the health impacts on people living near gas power plants. And second, the impact on both health and on the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere from methane leaks while drilling, processing, and transporting natural gas, especially gas fracked in Pennsylvania's Marcellus Shale region. What motivates this exchange of information from me to you is my awareness that Council, as a whole body, has the power to protect Philadelphia's population from human activities within the city which cause environmental degradation. Specifically, this month, Council has an opportunity to use their political and economic influence on Monday, May 8th, to discourage SEPTA's plan to build a gas-burning power plant in Nicetown, which borders Germantown, East Falls, Tioga, and parts of central North Philadelphia. This is not just about whose district the plant is in. Nicetown will be most affected, and those within 2 miles will also be largely affected, but wind and weather carry emissions from smokestacks all over the city. I have a lot more here. So, I'll just say this, SEPTA's vote can be reversed, and it should be, because it was not informed by respectable climate science or any genuine concern for already existing health problems in the city related to air pollution levels. For example, 1/3 of the children in Nicetown are diagnosed with asthma, and among my classes, I teach about 180 students, half of them have said they or a family member has asthma. So we already have health problems. But anyway, here's your homework.
And you can leave
Please
your
divvy
testimony.
it up, read it, and share.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your testimony.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Andrew Goodman, and I'm Community Engagement Director for NKCDC. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you, and special thanks to our 3 district council people, 1st, 7th, and 5th. Thank you for being here.
Welcome.
I'm here today to ask that City Council make more money available from the general fund for programs that promote affordable housing, commercial corridor management, and resident capacity building. Programs like these are essential at this important point in Philadelphia's history as we struggle to preserve mixed-income communities and stop the cycle of trauma that for many neighbors begins right at their front door. NKCDC and other organizations like us bring multiple city programs under one roof. We are a NAC office, a neighborhood energy center, a housing counseling agency, and we manage almost 50 blocks of commercial corridors. We have built credibility and trust by being in the neighborhood for over 30 years, and we hope that City Council sees us as a ready and willing partner as well. Our NAC contract is our foundation in each neighborhood we serve. It helps us build relationships while assisting residents inside the office, as well as being with them outside the office to learn the challenges they face every day. Our successes through the NAC program include helping to start 4 resident-led civic associations, 5 neighborhood plans, and most recently, an entire organizational shift to adapt our practices to focus on serving the communities around the Somerset L-Stop, and partnering with many other community-based nonprofits and service providers to do so. The NAC shows us where we are most needed, how to best help residents one-on-one, and allows us to assist neighbors in a thoughtful and compassionate way. Regarding affordable housing, Kensington is a perfect microcosm of the urgent need to double the Housing Trust Fund. Our service area runs the gamut of Philadelphia conditions. From 3-story row houses we couldn't give away 20 years ago, now selling for $400,000 just a couple blocks away from the infamous Kensington and Somerset intersection, where residents are struggling with multiple sources of trauma outside their homes. The last thing they should have to worry about are the conditions inside their homes. In conclusion, we ask the council leadership find ways to boost investment from the general fund so that organizations like ours can continue to work with you, to be with you as eyes, ears, and feet on the ground to solve problems that no one agency can fully address. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for your good work. Thank you for your testimony.
Tariq Khan, Tiffany Heron, Caitlin Martin.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight.
Oh,
sorry.
Let everybody.
Sorry. Hey.
One more.
Orlando Acosta?
What's it? What's that lady? Yes. That's Solyndra. Oh yeah, I know that. You know what? Orlando's going to need more room. Why don't we? What's this?
It's Caitlin Martin. Is that?
Okay. All right. We'll get Orlando up on the next panel.
Huh?
Orlando will be on the next panel, so you get more room. Okay, please.
Thank you, President Clark and City Council. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight to offer a nurse's perspective on the beverage tax. My name is Tarek Khan, and I live in Germantown with my wife Fatima, who's a special education teacher. Happy Teachers Week, Teachers Appreciation Week to all the teachers here. Sorry, Nurses Week, it's next week, sorry. I teach family nurse practitioners at University of Pennsylvania Hospital, and I've been a nurse since 2006, nurse practitioner for the last 6 years. I currently treat over 3,000 Philadelphians at Abbotsford Falls Health Center in Germantown. As a nurse practitioner, we've already seen the impact of the beverage tax. One patient named Erica, she has diabetes, and she recently gave up her 5-bottle-a-day soda addiction. Erica was one of several patients who decided to kick her soda habit after the soda tax was passed. She told me, "I'm not bougie, I can't afford $2 a bottle." Like I've seen with other patients who have cut back or eliminated soda, sugary drinks, or even diet soda, Erica was able to cut her weight down. She was able to improve her diabetes and was able to report an increased sense of well-being. Last year, I joined countless Philadelphians in feeling pride at City Council and our Mayor Kenny for moving boldly and fearlessly to combat our obesity and diabetes epidemic. Studies show that sugary drinks are one of the major culprits of obesity. Even a moderate amount of soda a day can significantly increase the likelihood of getting diabetes. 1 out of 3 patients of mine either have diabetes or prediabetes, and 1 out of 3 patients are obese. I'm also proud because the proceeds from the beverage tax added a boost to our unfunded rec centers, parks, green centers. This revamped public space gives people spiritual and mental health and wellness because they're able to exercise there, able to relax. Also, we have a big investment into pre-K because of the beverage tax, benefiting many Philadelphia 4-year-olds. Some of them are in this room today. Tax also transfers 24 public schools into community health centers to improve their quality of institution. I wanted to just say that beverage companies should see the Philadelphia beverage tax as a compromise for not having to warn the public about the dangers of their product. As advocates, perhaps we should be lobbying our legislators to force beverage companies to put warning messages on their products like drinking soda may cause hospitalization, consuming this beverage can lead to blindness, erectile dysfunction, and dialysis, or simply soda kills. So in conclusion, instead of drinking the soda's company's Kool-Aid, let's celebrate Philadelphia's beverage tax, a measure that's made my patients stronger and healthier, and will brighten the future of all Philadelphia's children. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Slide her the mic.
Hello, I am a limited resources member of Employment 2. I have been on membership roll of service at Limited Resources over 10 years. I was recently released from the Department of Corrections State Prison Muncie. I was released on date February the 21st of 2017. And that I was found guilty on date March 13, 2013 of violating my probation for the 5th time. And that in 2001, I was given by a judge a 15-year probation to in full term successfully or either to the best of my ability. At year present 2017, my 15-year probation, I have fully served. Due to mistake, I am in need. Due to mistake in my need of at this time for immediate apartment housing placement, being unfortunate and being transported or transferred or into a CCP that was authorized for me to enter into, being I was for the parole at FY2018 State Prison. So being there from limited resources to receive ongoing their assistance, aid, and help, as I am a cancer survivor, and at present, I have had and now still do have multiple physical disabilities. I am presently without an apartment or a house, and ask at this time highly for authority to immediately place me into a subsidized apartment or medical inpatient housing environment. Here at this meeting at City Hall on today, date May the 3rd, 2017. I am also proud to announce and write that I did on this paper I'm reading from today that my father, also Arthur Stone Sr., his name, did retire from SEPTA. If you have references to assist me in my hard efforts to be housed place regarding myself, Alicia Burgess, for reason I am in need of immediate housing, please have them mail their helpful information and assistance information to my post office address, which is P.O. Box 11091, Philadelphia, PA, zip code 19141. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony, ma'am. Appreciate it. Chair recognizes Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Council President. Before the next two speakers testify, one, I want to thank the last speaker for her courage to come here and speak with us today. I appreciate you coming down here so much. Council President, the next two speakers, Tiffany, Caitlin, I didn't know they, decided to come down on their own, part of the pre-K movement. I'm glad that you're in the district, and as a parent and as a pre-K employee, thank you for taking the time out, and thank you for what you're doing for the community.
Councilman. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Caitlin Martin. I currently work at Funtime Childcare. I'm an assistant teacher for the pre-K program. This is a wonderful opportunity for me because I currently attend CCP for early childhood to become a teacher. I also am a single mother of a 2-year-old, and because of this pre-K, I was given a raise, which is very beneficial. I would also like to thank everybody, especially our Councilman Bobby Heenan, for voting for this tax, because it has had very many positive impacts and opportunities for our children as well as the employees. The pre-K program is very beneficial for our students because they get high-quality pre-K for free. We prepare the children for kindergarten by teaching them things such as letters, numbers, shapes, and how to write their names, and many more. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Heron. I'm a mother of 4 children. I'm from the Winston-Newman area. I just want to say thank you to everyone, especially Bobby Heenan, for passing the taxes. It gave my son a good opportunity to qualify for pre-K and prepare him for kindergarten. He has learned so much in the 2 weeks he has been there. His alphabet's right in his name. I am grateful for this program. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you all so much for your testimony. Appreciate it.
Orlando Acosta, John Dodds,
Just those two. It's not, I don't think it's enough. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir, and good evening to all the council members. I'm here tonight because I'm very, very concerned and upset because of several different things. Yesterday I was here and I saw that the Department of Human Services was here yesterday. And I see that, and I commend the council people for signing or agreeing with the Wordsworth situation. But a lot of the coolest companies are failing children tremendously, and they've been coming after parents through the school district for truancy issues. And if you have truancy issues, that's one thing. But then they have truancy issues where they're removing children out the house just based off of truancy issues, not the aspect of physical abuse or anything like that. It's just basic truancy issues. And how I know this is because they recently removed one of my kids for no reason apparent, no abuse, no nothing. And basically it sent my wife into mental depression. And right now she's dealing with mental depression because of this. And I had to go public with it because, number one, this has been a situation where once I speak out against different things within the school district, then they want to come after me and my family. For the last 3 years, I had truancy issues, true enough. I do admit that. But the kids was getting to school. I got 2 kids that graduated college and everything. So we do look at high academics in regards to it. Now, we did have a little bit of transportation issues and different things like that. But soon as every time I went to go speak at the SRC meetings and different things like that, then we had truancy on the door for whatever reason. And then they had the case open twice, closed it twice, because they found nothing to substantiate it. Then this last time they opened it, the caseworker was very irritated, ignorant, didn't know anything about our case at all. And then 3 weeks later, March 21st, they come to my kid's school. We had no knowledge of it. They snatch him out of school. My wife goes down there in a panic. He's gone. We didn't find out till 7 p.m. that night where he was.
Okay, if you want to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm John Dodds with the Philadelphia Unemployment Project. I'm here today to request funds from the City of Philadelphia to expand reverse commute services for inner-city workers in Philadelphia. Poor reverse commuting options in the Philadelphia region deprive inner-city residents of access to jobs that are more plentiful and better paying in the Philadelphia suburbs. The City of Philadelphia spends $12.6 million, which is 70% of the regional match, to fund the regional rail system, which brings 130,000 mostly suburban riders a day into the center city. This is a great service for employers and commuters. Unfortunately, the suburban jobs are widely dispersed and large numbers are unreachable by SEPTA. This is important because in 1970, half of all the jobs in the region were in Philadelphia. By 2013, only 25% were. With over 35% of city residents carless or transit dependent, including over 50% in many minority neighborhoods, there's a crying need for mass transit alternatives to reach suburban employment. Recent Brookings study found that only 25% of the jobs in the Philadelphia region are accessible in less than 90 minutes by public transportation. This is why the Commuter Options Program was developed to provide vehicles for city residents to carpool to suburban jobs. The program is simple, flexible, and effective. It provides workers who live in the same neighborhoods in the city with vehicles to carpool together to drive to their suburban jobs. $750,000 increase would allow us to expand the number of vehicles to provide 300 Philadelphians with access to good-paying suburban jobs. Thank you very much.
Sharifa Maddox, Morgan Hugo, Dominic Venezia, Nicholas Orolnar, Eileen Cow, Alicia V. Stone, Alma Daniels, Derek, I can't read your last name, Derek, if there's a Derek in the room. Okay. Rachel Connor, Bob Pearson.
It's like a lot of people changed their mind.
Farrah Raymond.
Okay, all right. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening. How you doing? My name is Sharifa Maddox. I'm currently here on behalf of Exceptional Learning Academy for the pre-K program. Basically, I think the program is actually good for the kids because they have a chance to come to school for free and interact with other kids that's older than them, also younger than them. And also, years ago, we had this No Child Left Behind law, meaning that it's passing them through. So if they get a little bit of enlightenment as they're young, maybe it'll, push them to move on as they get older. I'm 36, I'll be 37 in July. I come from the era where my dad homeschooled me and my mom. It was no computers. I was homeschooled from kindergarten until 9th grade. I didn't start until 9th to 12th. And I graduated with a diploma. I'm also certified in CCI. I'm certified with dealing with the kids, and I'm also certified with dealing with home health care aid for the adults. And I'm also further on my education now, far as going to school for my associates, and then I'm going to go back for my bachelor's. So by me being homeschooled and with not a computer, having a book in front of me and not a teacher, my mom and my dad, and they always worked. My dad worked for Parking Authority. My mom worked for the Hospital University of Pennsylvania for 47 years. Now she's retired. And I look at it as I turned out great. So if you're going to send me to school, and just push me through. If you're going to send these kids to school and just push them through and don't teach them anything, you might as well homeschool them. But at the end of the day, if you look at it, the pre-K program is great for the kids because they have a chance to interact with other kids. If you look at it, they're not left home with their mom, where kids are starting to get a little bit too advanced and know too many things that's going on only because they're in a household around adults all day. So it has to start from home and it has to start from somewhere. So being as though I have a pre-K class, we have the pre-K program in our school, which is Exceptional Learning Academy. A lot of the parents, they don't look for it as just a free out. They look for it as my child is learning, they're prepping them, they're teaching them to be sociable with, other kids older than them, younger than them, So at the end of the day, I honestly see that the pre-K program is a good and positive program for these kids because if you look at it now, these kids, they really don't know too much because they're not being taught. And also, when I left school, when I was homeschooled till 8th grade, I started 9th grade of Catholic school. I didn't start 9th grade of regular school. And I was homeschooled from kindergarten to 8th. So I started from 9th grade to Catholic school and just graduated straight out to 12th and went all the way through with no problem. Okay. So if the pre-K program was taken away, I honestly think a lot of our children for the future will suffer.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your testimony.
Hello, my name is Alma Daniels, and I'm here representing the Friends of Wakefield Park, located at the 51, 52nd, and 53rd block of North 16th Streets. Our homes are directly across from the park, and the fence in front of the park is in disarray. It's all broken down. And we have been fighting prostitution, drug use in our park, particularly on the 5100 block. And we fear that if the fence is not repaired, the situation will worsen, which will give the traffic, the cars easy access to drive into the park. We have spent a lot of time cleaning the park, beautifying it, sort of policing and calling for police to come out when we see this, things happening. And we're told that there's no funding to repair the fence, and that's really why I'm here to ask for funding. The park is utilized by the Christa Ray School at 16th and Duncannon. There have been weddings in our park. People hold different functions there. That when their homes, the community, when they don't have their homes won't accommodate what they want to do, they utilize the park. So we're just asking for favor for fencing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your testimony. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm testifying on behalf of AND Kids for the PHL Kids program. Mr. President, and to whom it may concern. My name is Farah Tresilis. I'm here and my friend Ruth Marbury to speak out regarding the PHL pre-K program that our kids has been part of since January of 2017. We are here to say that we need the program to continue because it has been helping our kids to grow and give them a great start for preschool. We are working mothers and as well students. We have applied for CCIS since last year of March, and still yet the funding has not been approved. So the PHL pre-K has been a great help for our kids. We are asking for the PHL pre-K to continue. There are many other working mothers and students who benefit this program and whom are not present to testify. But we took a stand out by taking transportation all the way from Northeast Philadelphia to be here to say that please and please have the program continue because it will help us many mothers to continue our education and to be able to go to work and give our kids a great future. Thank you for taking our stand out into consideration.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your testimony.
Ruth Marbury, Raymond Rayford, Sharamone and Sharifa, Aiko Doran, Maria Brayman, Tanya Sears.
That's it. Wait a minute, one more. Good, all right. Good evening.
Good evening.
You
I
proceed.
begin.
You guys got to self-select, yeah.
Hi, good evening all. My name is Tanya Sears, and I'm a family child care provider. I was blessed in January to have fill up pre-K. Family child care providers basically can't have more than 6 children. I am a former school district teacher. I'm a certified teacher. I have a principal certification, but nothing has blessed me more than teaching my pre-K children. Working with them because I felt that going back with the younger children, I needed to start there and work my way up. My children have been a blessing. The parents, since January, I have new parents that couldn't afford to bring their children to childcare, and with the pre-K program, now they can. I'm pleased to say I have 2 children who are reading and ready for kindergarten in September. My other children are right on their heels, and they'll be ready in 2018 for kindergarten. This program has blessed so many families and so many children who are able to come to various programs around the city and learn what they need to learn to be ready for kindergarten and have so many other social experiences. So I thank you, and I hope this program continues.
Thank you very much for your testimony.
Hello, my name is Maria Brayman from NKids Daycare Center. For many who are not familiar with the field and who just read it in the news, 6,500 children who can benefit from this program is just statistics. But when you have a toddler running up to you and thanking you for food, thanking you for toys, thanking you for books, that's not statistics anymore. When you have parents who run crying to you because they finally got a job and they can finally buy presents to their kids, that's not statistics. And that's what we're doing. That's really changing the world. And I just want to thank everyone who voted for this text, because you really are changing the world. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Good evening.
Good evening, Councilman Clark. My name is Aiko Razak Dornik. I'm actually Councilman Squilla just left. I'm in his district. Thank you. So I know it's late, so I'll try and keep it as quick as I can. I wanted to make sure that I second all this statement that was read by Nancy Solyndra about the accessibility for the city. As both a resident of the city for all of my life, or so the 46 years of my life, as well as a board member of Liberty Resources and a volunteer at WCRP, I just feel like these things need to be heard and spoken to in a much clearer voice. Just the thing that I think was lost in some of the discussions, I was a person at age 18. I broke my neck at the same field with Senator Hines at his plane crash approximately 2 years. I broke my neck approximately 2 years before he had his plane crash. I was able to make myself through community college, through Philadelphia University, was able to free myself from what I consider incarceration for living in Nicholas House and being able to get an accessible home, being able to find myself in a beautiful home, in Old City, where if I had to purchase it again today, it would be not affordable. I'm lucky enough to have it paid off, and I see many people in the community still in institutions because of no other reason than they can't find accessible homes. I believe it was spoken by several people that there is a proposed tax that we're hoping to have passed. As someone who went to university and went to university and studied architecture, I know that there are many ways that you can make the homes visitable. They don't have to be, quote unquote, fully wheelchair accessible for the whole home. So anyone can visit the home who utilizes any mobility device, whether it be myself, a grandmother, or grandfather. So it doesn't need to be considered something that is just a very specialized thing. It should be considered something that is used for everyone, and everyone will probably use it at one point in their life. And if there is more accessibility, especially in the high-rises that are being made, I would think that 10% of those should be made accessible so that we're able to live in the community of our choice, which is extremely important, not to be segregated in one area, but to be spread out throughout our wonderful, diverse city.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your testimony. Thank all of you. Is it? That's my script. Well, there are no other speakers listed. There being none, this committee will stand in recess until Monday, May 8th, 2017, 10 a.m., at which time we will reconvene in room 400 City Hall. Thank you all very much.